For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. Westward from the Davis Straits, there it was said to lie, the sea route to the Orient for which so many died, seeking gold and glory, leaving weathered, broken bones, and a long forgotten, lonely cairn of stones. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. 3 centuries thereafter, I take passage over land in the footsteps of brave Kelso, where his sea of flowers began, watching cities rise before me, then behind me sink again. This tardiest explorer driving hard across the plain. Oh, for just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. And through the night behind the wheel, mileage clicking west, I think upon Mackenzie, David Thompson, and the rest, who crossed the mountain ramparts and did show a path for me to rise the roaring Fraser to the sea. Oh, for just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. How then am I so different from the first man through this way? Like them I lived a settled life, I threw it all away to seek a Northwest Passage at the call of many.
Little Unleash the Archers to get things going. Little bit of Canada. Little bit of Canada for you. Man, is it ever hard to get your day going back in the right direction once, like in the morning, if someone steers you in the wrong direction in the morning or something steers your day in the wrong direction first thing in the morning, it's tough to get it back on track after that, folks. It is. And if you're out there and that's happening to you, just, realize that you're not the only one, right? I mean, I fucked it up today. We didn't do the glasses. Oh, that's okay. We didn't do the specs today. I knew I forgot something. Man, sorry for starting a little bit late here, folks. My name is Tyler, and this is the Amp Sim Universe, and welcome to the Amp Sim Universe, rather. Basically, I had an internet issue, and it came out of nowhere. It was due to a billing issue, like a contract thing that I didn't really, I guess they sent me something, and I had no idea. What are you going to do? It is what it is. Chris, how are you? How the hell are you, Chris? And Chris is here today. Chris from WaveMind Chris. Chris. Is your last name, is it BRAS? Is it BRAS? BRAS? I can't. Let us know how it's pronounced. I'm curious. Anyhow, today, what are we doing? We're going to be chit-chatting with Chris today. This stream was supposed to happen last weekend, but I will firmly admit that the schedule was on one paper that was literally sitting beside me right now. And due to everything that was going on with Mr. Kitty Cat last weekend, Mr. Brimere, I'll be honest with you, I screwed up the entire schedule. I screwed it all up, and we are doing it today. And we almost fucked this one up too. Arrgh. So today we're going to be asking Chris, feel free to ask Chris anything you'd like, past, present, future type things. Ask him what his favorite bands are if you'd like. Ask him what kind of plugins got him into it. Got him into doing this. Ask him whatever you'd like. And he's all interested. If there's something he cannot answer, if there, Chris does have, as I said yesterday, Chris does have, admittedly, there are a few projects on the go for WaveMind right now, but in some of those, he's probably going to be able to answer questions on, and some of those, maybe not. So feel free to ask Chris, what's up? How's it going, buddy? It's been wonderful working with Chris on NAMM Universal. We are working with WaveMind right now on a plugin for NAMM users to enjoy, for everyone to enjoy. Caleb, how are you? It's nice to see you as well, sir. I am using my Ibanez Iceman today, as this, I find this particular guitar sounds really nice through this plugin. As I learned when I did a video for the class, as I've been mentioning, I've been doing these videos for my classroom, and which reminds me, I have to get to a video for them today as well. And so yeah, I'm doing a video for the class. I did a video of a band called, what are they called again? Oh, gosh. What are they called again? It's this new band. What are they called? Not new bands. New band, newish to me. Skillet. They've been around for a long time. I just never really listened to them. I honestly never really gave them a chance. Never gave them the time of day. All right. So, guys, I'm going to start out by asking Chris, what got him started, what got him interested in doing amp sims, what got him interested in the idea of doing it, and yeah, that's where we're gonna start. I don't even think I asked him that. I've been, for those of you unaware, like, we've been working with WaveMind now for I guess about a month or so, maybe like a month. I don't know if it's been a month yet. Even we're working on a plugin. It's been a lot of fun so far. This is the company's flagship that you're looking at right now. This is Amp Suite Rev F. Most of you guys and gals have probably seen this thing floating around somewhere at this point. There's a lovely, we'll go to the screen. There's a lovely front and a back to this plugin. And lovely, if you have to take a look at it, I will make the lovely vector. I love vector UIs. It just makes it nice. A few different settings back here. You can use the vacuum tubes. You can use the solid state, bold, spongy, all sorts of different things that you can do back here. And you can also kind of mess around with the different channels. It's a lot of fun. I like having the back option of an amp. That's cool. I really enjoy that. All right, Pedro, how are you as well? Nice to see you. Now let's see where we're at. I haven't even really touched anything yet, and it sounds that good. Well, la-ti-da. A little bit more of a little bit more, and I'm gonna bring it back just a tiny bit, and we're gonna get that input up a little. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I would love to have that. I feel like all I'm lacking is the ability to code, and I could probably put together some pretty cool plugins. But that being said, coding is the coding is no joke, and doing it at a high level is also absolutely no joke. And so, you've got to be we weren't joking when we said the genius at WaveMind. Like, anybody that's doing amp sims or guitar, just in general, guitar-based software at a high level. If you're doing it, I don't even care. Like, there's not even coding really involved. Some, depending on what you're doing, but there's not even really coding involved with shooting IRs. But you have to be a different kind of genius to shoot IRs at a high level. You just do. That sounds delicious. Delicious. I need a pedal, though. I kind of feel like a pedal. I also kind of feel like moving this a little over here. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And also, Chris, if I can ask, like, what is the specific function, if you can, of the comp effect here? What is the specific function of it? It's not just an overall compression, I'm guessing? Or is it just like an overall compressor that compresses the entire thing? Is it like a multi-band type scenario? Let us know. We're curious. Now, inside this suite, we have the Maxon 808, which is, if you know me, one of my favorite tube screamers of all time. I have a few. And there's also the Fortin 33, also known as the 22 Forte Boost. And you guys will be able to hear how it affects the amp here. That's beefy. That's really beefy. Let's add some more gain and make it crushing. Should we make some crushing sounds? I kind of do. I kind of want to. That sounds awesome. Every time I use this thing, it's like better than the time before. Pardon me. Same principle. Nah, right. I like it. I like it. I like it. So I like that. That's great. I like that. Guys, if you're out there and you're wondering what the fuck is the Sneap C4 trick, you got to look it up. You can find yourself a multi-band compressor. Essentially, there's one right inside Reaper even. I think it's called Re-X Comp. You can just apply the Sneap settings to most multi-band compressors also. But although if you're using something like Aught, which is that really nice free multi-band compressor, I'm not really sure how to apply it to Aught, but that thing is out there as well. The Re-X Comp is right inside, available. I'm not sure. The replugs. I think you can also use replugs for other DAWs, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, we're just going to hang out with Chris for about 90 minutes today. We're definitely going to have Chris on again and again and again. Definitely. There's going to be basically every time there's a release, guys. Somebody was asking me if we could have Daniel on again, being that we didn't even have Daniel on the YouTube. We had him on the Facebook when we were practicing, if you will. He was the first one we had on. And yeah, absolutely. We're going to have Daniel and Lucas on again when some more basically anytime a plugin comes out. that a developer would like to come and have a chat with us, I just asked them simply, hey, do you want me to just do a good solid run through with the plugin while you just stop by the chat and just hang out with us? We're also going to be asking bands, well-known bands and players, to come and join us for genre or band specific tone wise. If we do a tone talk on a certain style, it'd be nice. Wouldn't it be cool to have a certain band that's kind of known for that specific sound, or at least the guitar players or the bass players, somebody in the band to hang out with us in the chat. So we're also trying to set some of that up. It's all going to get bigger and bigger as we go, but we're definitely going to have Chris on again when we release, when basically anytime he wants to come on and chat with us about any release. And he's got some stuff coming up the pipe. I'm not sure if it's been asked yet. I'm not sure if it's been asked yet, but do you want to lay on the folks what the next plugin is? I'm not sure if I didn't see. Nice. Combine it with your of course your studies in digital sciences. And why wouldn't you? I would love to do something like that. Very cool. I see this is a good chat that you guys are having right here. I love it. I would like to know though, Chris, if you want to let it out there, what's going on, what you're up to, the next one. And there's a few projects that he's got on the go that, I mean, man, all I can say about them is that you guys are going to love it. You guys are going to love everything that's coming down the pipe from this fella right here. Now, if you're not familiar with the rectifier, there's a lot of people that are under the belief that the rectifier is a stone cold metal machine. It's just meant for metal. No, it's definitely not. The clean tone in a rectifier isn't really for shit. I'll be honest with you. There's not a whole lot of guys out there that are just using the clean tone on a rectifier. It's there, and it doesn't sound terrible. It sounds good for people who like gaining tones, but just need a little pinch of clean once in a while. You just, maybe. But there's also a lot of players out there that have been known to use the rectifier and then, employ like an AB to something else for clean, like a Fender or a Roland or a Vox or something else. That's happened plenty of times as well. However, I would say that if I'm going to put my money on the rectifier being known for anything, it would be hard rock. Hard rock, this is the hard rock, the god of American hard rock amps. And when I say American hard rock, I mean like American hard rock. American hard rock meaning like heavy, not quite metal, maybe real close to metal, but not quite all the way there. You know, the entire Octane Radio on Sirius Octane Radio, all those stations, essentially, American hard rock. Now, even, Nickelback's not American, but Nickelback known for, huge for rectifiers. Punk rock. Also, skate punk there's a lot of rectifiers in skate punk. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't see the dual rectifier being used in metal as often as I've seen it used in hard rock. And, just listen to it though for hard rock. And that's why it's known for hard rock, because it's absolutely incredible for hard rock in every way, shape, and form. It just is. It just is. And yeah, so essentially I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak for him, but it's just so fun knowing that there's some great stuff coming down the pipe from some great developers out there. Man, this, even just talking about and thinking about bright futures for so many different developers right now. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling knowing that there's a lot of cool shit coming out. So again, we're going to be heading out with Chris for about 90 minutes today, hanging out and just chit-chatting, talking shop. We're going to go over the RevF here a little bit in its glory. And then we're also going to go over some of his freeware. Now, some of the freeware over at WaveMind, just to keep in mind here, we have the X drive. This is based on, the 808X. And man, it's pretty awesome that we get to have a free Maxon 808X with extraordinarily high quality. It's really nice to have that because it just makes sense. It's a nice overdrive. Tube screamer, whatever you guys want to call it. I like it better than the old standard green. I'm actually, off the top of my head, not 100% sure what the actual technical words are tough. Technical differences between the two are, but I've always liked the 808X just a bit better, and it's really nice to have that pedal. Also available, and I'm noticing it's not in the Forte Boost 22, and this is also free. You can get that, and then we're going to be putting those through a couple of different free all-stars, the Emissary and the L12X. We're going to be throwing some of the freeware through there. There's also the shoeless drive pedal, and this is of course, this was like a collaboration between WaveMind and Resington, our friend Resington, popular YouTuber, guy that knows his tone. And this is based, if I'm not mistaken, on a modified DOD 250 preamp, and this thing sounds awesome. So I am gonna engage this and disengage the gate because there's something in the way. I don't want anything in the way of it hitting the amp. I've got a gate up here as it is. I don't really need this one anyways. It's fine. But remember, if you're using outside distortion sources, always try to bypass anything that's in the way of that and between that and the amp, like you would with Neural DSP or STL Tones, anything else that's got a gate. You want to just think about what you would do on a regular pedal board. You're not on a regular pedal board going to put a gate, a couple of boost pedals, and then another gate. You're not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. You're probably not going to go at it like that, although you might, I guess. Everybody is their own person. I wouldn't. But it is what it is. So I'm going to make sure all this is off, that gate's off, go back to the amp, and let's see what the shoeless drive has for us. All right, I'm just going to tune up here first, though. Funny, I actually haven't played this guitar in a few days. I didn't even tune it. I just started playing, and it was in tune from a few days ago. Even though we're getting ready for a big-ass snowstorm. It's supposed to be up to 60 centimeters of snow coming our way. But here's without. And here's with. Yeah, that sounds great. Awesome. So yeah, the shoeless drive, get it ASAP. It sounds really cool through this as well. The only other pedal we've got in the chain today, we've got the Neural Amp Modeler in case I wanted to throw something extra at it. Probably not going to get to that today. And we've got the Sword always parked in the chain. If you haven't got the update yet, make sure you get the update. The 50 plus presets for you to play with. and I hope you guys dig it. That also probably not going to get a lot of play today because we do have a few other efforts, a few other offerings that we want to go through first. So, Greg Knight, yeah, man, thanks so much. I didn't realize that was you. I wish I had known that was you. Now that was sick, man. Congratulations on the win, and you're going to be enjoying this now that I have that. I'm going to send that over to you this afternoon. I've got all my Sunday afternoons are my communication days. Those messaging the page, I am sorry that occasionally it takes us a couple days to get back to you, and I do apologize for that. Coca-Cola for the win. So now I'm in love with the shoeless drive. The shoeless drive being used in that scenario, just woof, yeah. I actually don't like the tone on this album very much. I love this riff, but I don't like the tone. I don't know what it is. If you guys aren't familiar, this is off the Oncoming Storm album, I do believe, from Unearth. Those guys were on fire for a little while, eh? All of a sudden, it won't stay in tune now. Isn't that nice? And this guitar is usually pretty good for that. All right, cool. Sounds good to me. Is there an Amsterdam or developer? Let's make Rectifier. Please do. Yeah, check out that shoeless boy. That's okay. That nice to see you though. Nice to see you, Greg. It's nice to see everybody actually today. Like I said, tough fucking morning this morning. Tough morning indeed. I had a $350 payment that I did not authorize. Two things I actually forgot to cancel, but I had thought I didn't realize that we're on auto billing either. And boy, was I upset. So now I have to go and deal with that. And then all of a sudden, like 40 minutes before the stream, I start having internet issues. Like, what the fuck is going on here now? And then, man, the internet people were very, very, very rude. Very, very rude. And yeah, very rude. Very, very rude. And I really just... I just cannot stand people in that are rude at their place of employment without being, like, man, you can't have an attitude when you're in service. Yeah, beefy. Super beefy. So that is that. And we're going to go back to the suite now. And I've been just running this through all kinds of different cabinets as well. If your thing is... Here's the thing. I've had a few different people in the streams mention that the cabinet is... The cab section is a tiny bit limited right now. And a couple different times asking, I've noted that that Chris has intention on adding several different things to the cab section over time. Getting it out there with just 57s is wonderful. It is wonderful that you can do that because 57 is the way to make it's kind of the way to make the guitar world go round. If you can't get a good guitar sound, a good guitar sound with just a single 57, I'm sorry, but you are not fit to be near a cabinet with a microphone. Everybody that's ever done this can get a good sound with just it's nice to have more. Yes, it's true. It's nice to have more, but you don't need more is what I'm saying. However, that being said, if it's not really your thing, you can easily just bypass it and load up your own stuff. Or you can load your own stuff right in here, as I've done a few different times. So you can just go custom IR and load your own up, no problem. Or like I said, you bypass, you hit this. And what have I got going right now? This is just one single free file from the Wilkinson Audio free pack. That's a little bit loud. Bring that back. That sounds pretty good, actually. Let's bring that back some more. That sounds also pretty good. And you can run, I've been running this thing through all sorts of different impulse responses, and it has sounded great through just about everything I've thrown at it. Nice to see everybody chit-chatting their way through. I love the way he's looking at that. See, this is what I was saying, guys. You guys, I can remember the first stream we did with the WaveMind Rev F, and I remember kind of like being like, yeah. I remember meeting Chris and having like the first conversation that we had, and just being like, checking off all these boxes of, you know, the excitement boxes for a new developer. Check. Wants to do bucket list of cool amps. Check. Open mind for all sorts of things. Check. Great. And a lot of fun to talk with. A great outlook. I'm really excited for the future of this company because of the bright outlook of the guy who's running the show over there. I'd really like new developers that have just their own unique way of looking at things and not wanting to just come in and do, you know, a carbon copy of what someone else is doing. That is fucking great. And there is another thing that I'm positive he's not going to announce right now, but here's what I'll say. That there is a type of suite out there that really you would think would be a thing already, but it's never really become a thing. And I think that he's got an interesting outlook on doing like a signature suite. So that's what I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say with it is that, and we'll get to that. Remind me that I brought that up when it becomes more apparent and we can talk more about it. Yeah, nice. I agree. And we forgot to mention that as well. We forgot to mention that, the tube type is back there as well. And you can hit it over to the EL34s. Oh, that sounds good. Really good. Whenever I engage a pedal like the Fortin Grind or the Fortin 33 or whatever, I like to increase the low end just a tiny bit because reasons, I don't know, personal preference, call it. I don't really have any particular reason why I like to do that. I like to just do it. Yeah. Hell yeah. So I hope you guys are having a great day. It's a lazy Sunday over here. It's been an annoying start to my Sunday, as mentioned. But we're here now. We're rocking. And I'm having a good time watching a little bit of baseball in the background, although my Blue Jays are not doing too well in spring training right now. It's only 2-0 though. Do we have any baseball fans in the house? I know Chris is from the Netherlands, but from what I've been told, baseball is getting bigger over in the Netherlands. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but the Netherlands did have a team at this tournament that I went to go watch. So, I mean, they've got to have at least some baseball over there. Hold on a second. Give me one moment. Sorry, folks. The one downside is when the missus isn't home. If I hear someone at the door, there's really no other option other than to hit the old BRB, right? And it turns out it was somebody that was just looking for the neighbor. The up, up, up with the down, down, down. Is that what he just said? That sounds an awful lot like Slipknot. That's an awful lot like a Slipknot thing there. Anyways, baseball is almost non-existent here. Nice. The Netherlands very much a football country. That's cool too. And by football, I'm assuming you mean soccer as we know it here. Football as it's called here by people that want to confuse other people. It's very strange though. Like, let's be honest, okay? Let's be fucking honest here. There is one sport that should be called football. The other one we'll call it American football because it shouldn't be called football. They knew there was a sport called football already. They knew it, and they went like, nah, fuck, we're going to make our own football, and we're just going to call it football, but it's going to be kind of like rugby and nothing like their football anyways, but we're just going to call it football. Even though the foot rarely touches the fucking ball in this game, we're going to call it football anyways, just to piss somebody off and confuse people for many decades down the road. Very, 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 very silly. Very, very silly. But that is the American way of life, isn't it? Very, very, very silly sometimes. Sorry, Eddie. Sorry, Bo. Sorry, basically everybody in here. How good does this rectifier sound, though? God damn it. God damn it. How good does this rectifier sound, guys? Everybody in this chat has tried it. I think almost everyone. But it sounds so good. So good. But Chris, I guess everyone's wondering, I'm going to ask the burning question that no one has the balls. No one in this room has the balls to ask you. Why did you fuck this plugin up so bad by not including a metal zone? Just kidding. I mean, if you really wanted it to be a Cannibal Corpse machine, you have to add the metal zone, brother. And by adding a metal zone, I mean please don't add a metal zone. That would be awesome. It's just so confusing for anybody that doesn't know that Cannibal Corpse uses metal zone occasionally as a boost. There's a lot of people that would be very confused by the inclusion of a metal zone with a rectifier. Just looking at it going. I mean, but what? I don't understand. You know, like there's only one purpose, and it really doesn't sound that bad. It actually sounds pretty cool, but the metal zone has such a bad name. It's just it's been trashed. The name has been sullied at this point, has it not? Wumpe. Take back the base. Man. Oh, it's just like you listen to bands like 3 Days Grace even, and I mean, I'm not saying you have to like music like that, but if you listen to, like, for example, 3 Days Grace, again, a huge guitar tone based, at least at one point, on completely on rectifiers. Blink-182, another single guitar player band, huge guitar tone because of rectifiers and tremolo verbs and other magic. I'm not sure what he uses these days. He's probably using some super pretentious blend of amps and boutique handmade pedals because that just seems like how he would roll in something like that, but it is what it is. The metal zone still holds a place in any real bedroom guitar player. any real bedroom guitar player I'm telling you, I can remember when bedroom guitarists had more than just plugins. Like now, bedroom guitarists have so many options. But back in the day, we didn't have a whole lot of options. And the Metal Zone, as I've said it many times in the streams, like the Metal Zone will always hold a place in my heart as well, because it enabled me to do like the craziest, scoopiest, like awesomest tone at home. Like I could do the Slayer, I could do the Metallica, I could do Cannibal Corpse, I could do whatever I wanted because the Metal Zone was so cool. So yeah, unbelievable. And yeah, sir, like this is not an easy amp. I want to point that out, that the rectifier has been, yeah, sure, there's a lot of rectifiers out there, but there's a lot of bad ones. There's more than a few rectifiers out there that don't do the OG a whole lot of justice and have just like tons and tons of omitted controls that are hardwired in who knows what position. You know, Will Metal Zone now. Yo, Phraskin, how are you, buddy? Nice to see everybody today. Nice to see everybody for a Sunday stream. As mentioned, we're going to be spending about 90 minutes with WaveMind Chris today, asking him about all the different things. Chris, can you give us a vague teaser on what happens, what might be, if you could give us a vague teaser? Like I said, you don't have to do details, but I'm curious if there's a vague teaser that of what's available, going to be available beyond that super cool, Colombian necktie plugin that you're working on. Also, inside the Colombian necktie, can you tell them which amp is going to be the kind of the focal point of the plugin, out of all curiosity? And yeah, super curious about that. Ah! Hatebreed as well. Metalcore, Hatebreed. That's basically all the majority of the metal bands I can remember using rectifiers. Were the majority of those were metalcore bands, because in that certain era, metalcore was very much influenced by the Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier, Triple Rectifier, all different types of rectifiers. And you know, the cabinets would vary. It could vary from Mesa OS to Marshalls to Soldanos to everything else, PVs, EVH, everything else. I think it's called a Savage. Whoop whoop. Resington in the house. Resington, we were just hammering your pedal through this beautiful WaveMind Rev F here, and just hanging out with Chris today, asking some questions. And just having a good time on a Sunday, trying to improve my mood. My mood just gone downhill this morning, and it is on its way back to freedom. Hanging out with Sam right next to me, and we're doing Stormwatch here, and all the snow is gone. It's been gone forever. We've been getting little sprinklings, and then it just melts in the day. However, tonight, we're supposed to be getting, between the next 24 hours, we'll be getting 60 centimeters of snow. so huge. You can't handle the amount of low end. The amount of headroom, I'm going to be honest, the amount of headroom in a rectifier for the low end is just nonsense. I wonder if there's ever anyone in the history of rectifiers that's ever actually turned the bass control up beyond like 5. Is it necessary? No, not really. You're just going to end up EQing all that out anyway. In my opinion, I don't know. That's how you can. That's just kind of how I've always been able to spot someone who didn't know how to work a rectifier, to someone that's just going after the low end like it's like a 5150. You're like, whoa, you're going beyond 5 there. Settle down there, big fella. You might want to just bring a lanyard and a harness if you're going to work with that much low end on a rectifier. Yes, indeed. Damn, it's been sunny here, but cold. British. Yeah, it's usually I can't complain. This time of year, normally we've still got a bunch of snow and we're still getting a bunch of really cold temps. Like the other day, we had a couple of minus 25 Celsius days, which, usually they do happen, but they've been very few and far between this particular winter. We've had almost no snow. Normally, we've got banks that are up to here by now, and we've got nothing outside. So winter is going to let us know that it's very much still around, and we usually get snow into early May sometimes. Not much, but a little bit into early May. Temps drop below 0 here. Cold spell. Where are you from, Freyskin? That's the other thing you guys can tell me in the comments, and maybe I'm wrong, but have you guys ever seen anybody shred with a rectifier? Have you ever seen a shredder use a rectifier as their main amp? Apart from, I know Nevermore, it was a big thing. Loomis was a big into rectifiers for a bit, and I know when Steve Smith was with them, I think, is it Steve Smith, that's his name? Yeah, they were both using rectifiers in Nevermore. That's a possibility right there. But I'm curious. I'm very curious if you guys know of any shred machines, shred beasts, shred monsters that ever really used a rectifier. Now, we may be here 120 minutes. We may be here 90 minutes. Not 100% sure yet today. Now, on the back end of the stream here today, we're going to be using the WaveMind pedals through a few different of our, free brethren. Some of our best freeware out there. We're going to be using it through the L12X, the Emissary, and potentially the Crunk. If you guys have any requests as far as other amps that you'd like me to see me put these WaveMind pedals through, do let me know, and I will be happy to do so. That being said, I would like to kind of keep it to the freeware if I can, because putting competitive paid products up here today that's not really going to roll down that street today. We want to give WaveMind the full spectrum of this. And if you have not already purchased the WaveMind rectifier, the WaveMind Amp Suite Rev F, you need to go out and get it. Make sure you get it. It is extraordinarily well priced for what you're getting. I will tell you that right now. All right, we're going to put on a quick Skeleton Witch tune here, and we are at the halfway point. I am going to be taking as usual, my 3 minutes break. Yeah, you're right. They're definitely, I know that. I know the reason that guys don't typically use them for shredding. I'm just wondering if you guys can think of any shredders that ever really use them. Chris Shiflett is an option. And when he was and even still, I think he still uses it in Foo Fighters today. And that dude, it's funny. The caliber of players they have in the Foo Fighters, like Josh Freese, one of the best drummers, maybe all time. It's one of my probably in my top 5 favorite drummers of all time. One of the most accomplished drummers of all time. It's Scott Shiflett, an absolute shred monster before he joined Foo Fighters. He's a lead beast, and he used a rectifier for quite some time, so I guess that maybe counts. I don't think so. Not really. Maybe not. All right, so guys, give me three long minutes, and I will be right back with you, and we'll continue to go through the wonderful WaveMind products. Thank you, by the way, so much to Chris from WaveMind for sponsoring this month as we continue to power through what will end up being 12 continuous months of contests here at the MSIM universe. Hopefully never going to do one with iLock again, though. Gosh, that was a pain in the ass. It still is a pain in the ass. In any event, I will be back 3 minutes, guys. Do chat amongst yourself, but let's leave you with a question. I'm going to leave you guys with a question when I leave in the comments. I want to see it when I get back. Let's see a whole big row of the best tones, best albums, best bands ever to use rectifiers. Your favorite band ever to use a rectifier. Favorite album with a rectifier. A band, maybe even a band that used to use rectifiers and switched to something else and started to sound like absolute dog shit. Or maybe it improved their sound. In the comments, please do discuss. And by the way, hit that like and that subscribe button, please. And very much thank you as we are trying to grow. Not going to hear a lot of that from me, but once per video is probably all you're going to get. Give me 3 minutes. Cheers, guys. Yo, yo, and more yo. Lincoln Park. Nice. Stacking the clippers and limiters is the way, man. Figured that out long time ago. Yep, man. Ramstein, as I found out, we did our tone talk there, and as I found out, I've always been under the impression that Rammstein was all rectifier. And I was wrong. I had no idea that Paul, is it Paul Lander? Paul Landers? He uses a small little SansAmp unit through some, I'm assuming, through some power on the stage of some sort, although there is no record of that anywhere. I can't seem to find much of it. He's got his own little fly rig now, and I think that's all he uses is this little tiny fly rig. One guitar player has a wall of rectifiers, and the other guitar player has like this little tiny little floorboard that attaches to like front of house. That's it. And go and check out our video, by the way, Tone Talk Rammstein. We did 2 hours plus, and it was a blast. And we came across this wonderful little plugin from Black Rooster Audio that actually emulates, well, actually just gives you, I'm not going to get into technical terminology here, but it actually gives you a pretty good look and a pretty good listen at that tone. And if you were to blend together the Rev F here with that little SansAmp unit, you would get a gigantic yes for Rammstein tone if you were to just simply go stereo left to right with it. Northern Germany here. Nice. Getting pounded by storms and freezing temps. Nice. George Lynch used rectifiers? Really, did he? That doesn't seem like a match made in heaven. And we love making that type of content too, my friend. That's one of our favorite things to do is Tone Talks. And man, it was a good time. We had a thrash talk yesterday. We actually had a small like a lower, we're not going to call it lower level. We had somebody locked up for that, but I'm going to be bringing in our friend Marco Donovan for a discussion about EMG and thrash metal and some other things. That's going to be a thing that's going to be happening sometime very soon. We've got some cool and fun interviews that are going to be coming up pretty soon. But man, one of the things we like doing most is Tone Talk. Our Tone Talks, rather. And why? Because I just really feel like if it's just a fun thing to learn to tone chase with plugins and IRs, especially because if you're like, well, you can get crazy with it, like right down to the type of speakers, and like you can get right down to it, the mics, the speakers, everything. Get very, very, very specific when it comes to dissecting certain artists' tones. But when it comes to kind of just like a blanket type tone talk, when it comes to a particular genre, like old school thrash, new school thrash, whatever, you don't necessarily need to get quite that in depth. But I mean, and in the past, we've been asked to do Tone Talk Zakk Wylde, and I think we're going to get to that at some point soon too, which could be really, really fun. So look forward to more Tone Talks in the future. We're definitely going to do more of them. All right, cool, guys. So let's just continue on through some WaveMind stuff, just catching up with the comments here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the L12X here. All right, if you've never used the L12X, you know that we use it a lot here. It's a pretty rad sim. I enjoy it quite a bit, and it's quite versatile. So, and I oftentimes just use it because I can get something really nice dialed in really quick that sounds really good with lots of different pedals. Let's see where we're at. All right, that needs a bit more level. Perf. Let's bring that back a tiny bit. Great. Now, let's get into it with some of these pedals. That's being the tone we're starting with, and if you guys are curious. Now we're going to go to this, which is obviously going to rip. And that is just, I'm not even using an outside IR. It's the onboard IR for the L12X, which, if you're very curious, and it's a little bit of trivia, is actually a blend of two CCAL cabs files, a blend of a Dave Mustaine 4x12, Marshall 4x12, and a Gus G Black Star. If I'm not mistaken, that is the blend that comes along equipped here with this bad boy. And that is back when CCAL still had free packs. I went to look for free CCAL packs the other day, and they all seem to be gone. I'm not sure if he still has free stuff or not. I kind of went and took a long look, and I couldn't really find it. Here's the thing, though, Resington. I know you do IRs, and I know you like playing around with IRs. Here's the thing. Try the L12X with literally fucking anything. Any IR you'd like. If it's a good sounding IR, this thing is going to sound good with it. And I know you have a couple of your own. By the way, check out Resington's stuff on Tone Hunt. He's got some IRs. He's got some other stuff you guys can check out, as well as, obviously, as we mentioned, the free pedal with WaveMind. And if you basically can take this thing and throw it whatever you want through it, blend. I've used it with, like I said, you can just go. Sometimes I'll just go and I'll use it with anything I want, and it usually sounds good. The other thing that a fun little thing is, if you use the neural amp modeler, you can use this thing as a pedal. So go download a whole bunch of pedals and use them out in front of the L12X or the Emissary or something else that's free or not free for that matter. And but I mean, in this case, we'll say free. Oops, got the swishy swashy going there for a second. Now try Resington's pedal through it. Here's without. And here is with. It's so fun. I say this a lot too, but it's so fun that we get to use stuff like the L12X, which looks and sounds like it's just this big monster amp through a 412 cabinet. But really, it's this tiny little amp that's meant to sit on a bedroom amp. It's not even very big at all. I don't even know if it would work with a 412 cabinet. I don't think it has the juice. Now with the Forte Boost 22. And I'm not even on full gain. You can just crank that up. Whoop. You got to scoop it out, go one way or the other. And that is the Forte Boost 22 from WaveMind. Absolutely free, 100% free. You can go free, and go get it for free. And the L12X, 100% free. Free. Go get that for free as well. And then this is the little bit of tiny pinch of reverb it's just a tiny room verb that I use to moisten things up. And it is also free. Wonderful. Wonderful. It sounds great. It really does. And if you're into freeware, then I mean, it's also, listen to how much noise is actually going on here. Quite a bit. So if you want to go and get something that cures your noise issues as well, this is pretty close to free. This is the Bertom denoiser, and I've sworn on this and sworn other people to this. This will clean up your noise issues. And if it's essentially, if anything sneaks through, you can also go get something like the free effector silencer, which is going to act more like a bit of a steel trap. And this is just going to get rid of all the different noise in your environment. And boy, do I love it for that. Keep in mind, though, with the hex drive, that pedal is phenomenally, that is a lot tougher to get your hands on than a Fortin 33. The hex drive was not, I don't think there were a whole lot of runs of those. And they essentially, geez, all I can tell you is that, what I do know is that Chris may or may not have some pedals coming out that carry a little weight. I'll say that. Again, though, like I said, when it comes to getting, if you can get your hands on a hex drive. Somebody check Reverb. Is there one for sale on Reverb? How much is it? Wow, that sounds fucking so good. Greg Knight, I can tell you that there is something coming out that is from us and WaveMind that we are working on together, and we can't answer a ton of questions on it, but we can answer a few. As I did a bit of a stream for Freeware Friday where we kind of did a bit of a walkthrough of just a bit of a teaser, sort of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be putting out a plugin essentially that puts together. As a team, we kind of came up with what would be a really cool signal chain to build inside one plugin to really help out NAMM profiles and help NAMM users and NAMM lovers love it even more and enjoy it even more. And we kind of came up with something cool along with WaveMind, and we feel really strong about it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think you're going to enjoy that. I'm going to predict that people are going to enjoy it more than Genome, and that's what I'm hoping anyways. I'm not saying Genome is bad. I, in fact, really, really enjoy Genome. It's fantastic. I just don't really care for the looks of the UI portion of it, and the operation. Didn't really overly care for it. Don't like that they renamed it the Codex instead of calling it what it is. And I also, I also see like there's some ulterior motive there to sell cabinets. And that's okay, by all means. But that being said, being able to use NAMM profiles with those 2 notes cabinets is awesome. It is awesome, and like really awesome. The amps that come with Genome are, I didn't like them at all. I don't like to be negative about products I'll just tell you, I didn't like the amps that came with it. However, getting to use 2 Notes was nice enough to gift me the entire collection of cabinets. Thanks so much to 2 Notes. And I was able to use so many NAMM profiles through their 2 Notes cabs. And man, it's like you're a kid in a candy store. It is. There's just not just options paralysis. You're like, it's almost like options rest in peace. You just have a billion options of cabs, a bajillion options of profiles and amps and pedals. You're just like, oh my God, this is so much. Just 5 hex drives on reverb from 160. Really? Then so be it. Not so bad after all. Okay, so I stand corrected. I just remember at one point in time, someone the hex drive was tougher to get. Now that I see there's used models for 160 to 225 US, not so bad. That's really easy. And the thing is, you got to think about it like it's not even much of an expense because developers wouldn't have to keep these pedals necessarily. If you're going and buying a pedal brand new or an amp brand new, and there are a lot of developers that will buy an amp brand spanking new and then they'll model it, right? And then in some cases, that amp you're going to be able to resell it for just what you paid or close to what you paid for it. In some cases, you might be hanging on to it for a while. Some developers choose to keep all the amps. They like to have the amps, all the amps of the stuff they've modeled as just like a reminder. It also makes for like a nice background for, social media content. It's nice to have, right? Nice big wall of amps. But in some cases, what a lot of developers will look at is used gear, and can I sell this for what I paid for it or more? In the case of a hex drive, there are 5 of them on there. They're not that high priced. Yeah, a Fortin product is always going to sell. It's always going to hold its resale value for anything with the name Fortin on it at all. Even the Randall stuff that was Fortin modified and Fortin designed through Randall, that stuff has all held its value or gone up in value. So in this case, like getting a hex drive, you're not going to be out $200 if you were to buy one just to model it and then kind of pitch it along. But remember, a lot of other amazing tube screamers out there that have yet to be modeled and yet to be given plug-in a plug-in representation, we'll call it. There's a few out there that I think are really close to being given a little more attention. See, I know you like to hoard them. That's okay. So you'd be one of those developers that would like to buy it and hang on to it, like for memory and for reference as well. And that's another thing. Sometimes developers will actually like to hang on to an amp for the reason of future development. That's the other thing we have to remember is that, they develop new techniques, new things, new this, new that. So they're like, oh shit, I just figured something else completely cool out. So I'm just going to pull that amp off the shelf, plug a bunch of shit into it, or pull the lid off and do a bunch of figurines. And then, use that. Like that amp just being there used for research and development is now, with an update, all of a sudden this developer's 2-year-old plugin all of a sudden gets this new, game-changing update because of something else, right? And that happens, guys, happens all the time. So many developers do that. And so, yeah, I guess it would be smart to keep them around. Amps, anyways. As far as pedals go, I think once those things are modeled and figured out, I don't know that you need to keep every pedal around. Although if you could tell that to Luca Capozzi over at Audiority here, he won't agree with that at all. He's kept them all. I think he's got like this giant hoard of pedals at this point. So he's a pedal guy though. And I would love to have a pedal collection. I just don't have the need for one. Is duality a rectotone? I don't know. I know that I think one of the guys, at least one of the guys in Slipknot used to use a rectifier. I know that. Was it Mick? I want to say it was him. I want to say it wasn't Jim Root. You know, one band that was actually, may he rest in peace, one of the gods of metal, Chuck Schuldiner. Actually, there's rumor that if he had that when he at the time of his diagnosis of cancer, there was, I believe it was cancer. Was it brain cancer? No, it wasn't brain cancer. Maybe it was brain cancer. I can't remember exactly. At the time of him being diagnosed with his illness, we'll say. That he was apparently onto something with Mesa Boogie. It would have been interesting to see what kind of tones would have come out of Death if he had switched to like a Mark II C plus or something, right? That was what I remember reading, that there was something to the effect of there was something major in the mix of some sort of amp or something, a collaboration or some sort of something going on with Mesa Boogie when he was diagnosed and when he passed. Jim is orange now, but we're talking about back in the day, during the Duality album and during the, even going way back to like the original, like the first couple albums, I'm pretty sure there was at least one rectifier. There has to be. You can just hear it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a rectifier. I think it was Jim Root. Maybe it was Jim Root using the rectifier and it was Mick using Rivera, or was it the vice versa? I can't remember. I can't remember exactly. I know at least one of those dudes was using Rivera for a really long time. There was a Rivera Knucklehead, another amp that has not ever been profiled, modeled, nothing. Well, it's been profiled, but not modeled. It's never been given a plugin, never been licensed or otherwise. There is no, will we ever get a Rivera Knucklehead? If only there was a developer in the stream with us that could potentially get himself a Rivera Knucklehead and make the very first... I'm just kidding, buddy. You've got a lot on your plate coming up. Yeah, he used Rivera then. Well, who used... I'd like to know. Somebody used rectifiers, though. Man, this sounds good. So I'm using a collection of free pedals right now. From WaveMind, we have the X Drive, Forte Boost, and the Shoeless Drive. These are all free, and you can get them all right now from WaveMind. This is a collaboration with Resington, and the other two are just originals. Not necessarily originals per se, but you get it. These can also be had in the Rev F suite. If you look right here, these are loaded up, and they're available there. Boom, boom, boom. And also, not seen right now, you guys can go get the absolutely free cabinet section you see before you hear, minus the amp, of course. They have a free cabinet section that you'll be adding to. Chris, will you be also adding to the free cabinet section as you add to the cabinet section in the Rev F? Will the free cabinet section also gain like the 421, 414, whatever you're going to add to it over time? I'm just curious. Dude, a few months ago, man, I've got a couple really, yeah, it's heartbreaking. I remember one day back a ways, I was in 21 or 22 years old. My cat needed surgery. He needed some vet care, and at the time, I didn't really have much of a job. I was concert promoting. I didn't have much going on at the time. I had no money. So I had to sell basically my entire drum kit. It was a really, really, really nice Gretsch drum kit, and I had to sell the whole thing. And I would do that though. The guys I would do that in a heartbeat. I would sell all the gear I own, every guitar. I think I have 19 guitars now. I would sell each and every one of them for all of my pets. No problem, without even thinking about it. I would keep one guitar, and that is Gilbert back here. This will never be sold for any reason other than Gilbert back there. I could let go of each and every instrument I have without even thinking twice, as long as it was to go to the benefit of my boys. Tone Talk Mastodon. Yes, I sure can. That would almost be like a Doom Tomb episode as well. I mean, let's be honest. Mastodon fits real close to Stoner Rock sometimes. And not Doom because they don't use like a lot of fuzz, but they get real close to Stoner Rock sometimes, those guys. And they tour with Stoner Rock bands from time to time, and prog and stuff. They fit in with all kinds of stuff. But yes, I would be happy to. I was actually really, really eyeing up, before I did my New Year budget here, I kind of thought I wanted to finance something else. I would, just so I could continue to build my credit, and something with like low payments. And I was gonna to get that Troy Sanders Fender made in Mexico Fender bass. That thing looks awesome. It looks so nice, and it has nice. Oh, it is. That is a perfect base. I look at it and I have to purposely not look at pictures of it now because man. Man, I do apologize last night though. We were supposed to have a Doom Tomb last night later on. I'm just learning that like later on streams on Saturday nights probably won't work. Friday nights could work. Saturday nights probably not. It really depends. Yesterday we just got very busy. And trying to schedule 2 streams in a day when I'm in the mood is weird. And it's tough because I do that first stream and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that second one. Then throughout the day, I get busy with other things and get kind of exhausted. And then I'm like, fuck, I really wanted to do that, but then I couldn't, right? So I think I'm just going to stop. I'm going to make small promises and add, small things later on if I have to, but canceling stuff sucks. But happy birthday, Caleb, and I apologize that the one stream didn't work out the way it should have. That being said, yes. How old are you? How old are you turning today? But yeah, absolutely. Tone Talk Mastodon sounds like a great idea. I will make note of that. We have a few different Tone Talks that are good, that are kind of loosely in the planning. Gosh, that sounds good. And all I'm using right now, guys, by the way, is a blend of these free pedals and the L12X of free amp because I want to basically show the people out there that are kind of on that very rigidly strict income that just maybe won't be able to buy the Amp Suite Rev F for the foreseeable future for whatever reason it may be. Grab something free like the L12X and then grab all these free pedals and just like I said, I mean, listen to how good the tone is here. That sounds really good to my ears. Then again, use that contour. We didn't get an afternoon stream because the weed was too strong? What do you mean? There's no guys, there's no weed that's too strong for me to stream. That just doesn't happen. There's no way. There's no way that there's a weed so strong that I'm just gonna like tap out on a stream, especially for the Doom Tomb, because that's like part of the idea for the Doom Tomb is just getting like, that was gonna be part of the reason of doing it later, so that I could be, quite herbally enhanced for such an endeavor, if you will. No, we watched the second Roadhouse, and it was awesome. It was pretty good. It's not as good as the first Roadhouse, but it was fun. If you guys haven't seen that new Roadhouse with Jacob Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, it was pretty good. It was well done. Some of the action was really, really strange. It was so like CGI that it was like almost really fake CGI. Like some of the fighting scenes almost were like almost. I don't know how to better explain it. You guys have to go and watch it yourself. I think I don't know what they were after when they were doing it, but it was good nonetheless. I can't shit on it at all. It was quite a lot of fun to watch. Very enjoyable. I took a profile. No, actually, the missus does not do any of the puffings. She had herself a little bit of Crown Royal and that new Coca-Cola Spiced, and had a couple of those, and we just watched Roadhouse and hung out and just did our thing. And before we knew it, it was just past the time. I'm just really gonna have to find a time that works on a Friday or a Saturday evening so that we can get some of the North American folks that want to watch something later in the day I realized that we do need to try and do something like that. And, not everybody really wants to sit down for 120 minutes at like in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? So Chris, this has been a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun sitting down with Chris and talking about WaveMind and going over about the Amp Suite Rev F, going over the free pedals, going over all the different stuff that WaveMind has to offer and how much fun. You can just hear it. You can hear it. Well, let's say we'll read it. You can just read in the way that Chris is talking about, his future projects, the way that he's talking about the industry, and the way that he's talking about it, the things that he's up to, that he's very happy about doing it. He's excited about doing it. He's very, I like that. I like that fresh feeling from a developer that's like, oh, I'm not burned out. I'm just kind of just going with what feels awesome, what feels good, rather than, thinking too much about it and how every tiny little decision will impact the entirety of your company. I like that he's just going on. He's going at it. He's trying to make a name for himself and the company. I do believe every time I've gotten this feeling about a company when they were newer to the game, they've always ended up going on to do great things. And I think the majority of us experienced users out there can always tell. I think all of us, whether it's Resington, whether it's Bo, whether it's Eddie, no matter who's in here, Greg, Pedro, all of us, everybody in here is an experienced plugin user. And I think all of us, we can feel it when we try something from a new developer and it just hits us in the right places. And you can really feel that with WaveMind. I think all of us can feel that same exact thing with WaveMind. And we're all very excited to see where it goes in the future. And I can remember feeling the same way about Neural DSP, STL Tones, Audiority, and a number of other companies that where the first time I tried what they were offering, I sat and said, this is going to be something. And I really do feel that WaveMind has that kind of a future in store. As for what we know is coming out, we know that the man is doing an Amp Suite Colombian Necktie. This is a local band, friends of his. And what better way, honestly, what better way to get into kind of getting your feet wet with potentially approaching signature, larger scale signature artists, other than to work with somebody that you're very, you're close to, somebody somebody that is low key, somebody that you're not feeling like you're on eggshells or at all, like you're trying to impress anybody necessarily. You're just working with somebody, you're working in comfort, and you're getting that tester, that learning curve. You're kind of erasing some of that learning curve, because at least some of the stress of it, because if for a developer to just jump right into doing a signature suite or a license suite with a builder or a particular band that's kind of, maybe the developer is just getting started, but the artist or the company is way up here, it can really be a lot of pressure on the developer to say, oh shit, I hope that question I asked them wasn't too stupid. I hope this was, is this right? Is that right? Is the deal? Is the percentage okay? I don't know what's going on right now. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you're in that scenario and you're not 100% sure of everywhere you're going. But to be able to cross that bridge with somebody that's somebody that's maybe got the expectations not quite as rigid, I think that's going to be a great thing for WaveMind. And then who knows, maybe more signature efforts in the future. Well, let's hope, right? Let's hope. So we want to thank, absolutely. All right. So let's all thank Chris for being here today. I thank each and every one of you guys for being here today. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Again, probably no streams throughout the week, as I'm going to be working on pre-recorded content after work each and every day that I can, and trying to get more of that out, and doing some more things like that. For the rest of my day today, I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of pickups online. I think I will put them on our page just in case there are any of our viewers or any of our subscribers that want to come at us for any of these pickups. I might do that instead of before I put them on the Verb. See if there's anybody out there. So stay tuned for that. That might bump around at some point. And that'll be the rest of that. Guys, there won't be any streams this week, but next weekend it'll be a real banger. We're going to be announcing a new contest next week. We're going to be having some fun next weekend. We may have a little bit of a Q&A with somebody special. Who knows? We'll see. I agree, Resington, and we will plug you, sir, because everything you do rules. Honestly, everything that you do rules, man. Thank you for being part of the streams. Thank you for dropping in, and thanks for plugging not just WaveMind, but plugging a lot of really cool companies that might fly under the radar of some. And don't think that goes unnoticed, okay? Don't think that goes unnoticed where you're doing a lot of really great videos, really great content for a lot of developers that I know appreciate it more than others, okay? So thank you for that. Thank you for being one of those influencers that's willing to kind of go, we'll call it go to the corners and get dirty in the corners. In hockey, that's a bit of what that means is you're not afraid to take a hit and go into the corner. You're selfless, not selfish. So that's really rad. Thanks for that, Resington. I appreciate you. And thank you guys. Thanks for the team here for being here today. Man, it's been great. It's been a fun stream. I love everything WaveMind is doing. And I know that everybody here on the team does as well, because we talk about them often, and not just because we're doing a plugin NAM Universal with WaveMind, but we wouldn't be doing that plugin with them at all, would we, unless we were absolutely sure that Chris is going to nail it and that he's got a great mind to work with. So stay tuned for everything that we have coming up, everything that WaveMind's got coming up, everything that Resington's got coming up, and we will see you guys next Friday for Freeware Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, guys, I will see you. Keep your eyes peeled. There will be some pre-recorded content popping up on the YouTube finally this week. Nah, you know what? There's nothing dangerous about being honest, Resington. There's nothing dangerous about that at all. You're out there doing your thing, and we always have to be honest. Nobody in the industry, except for the developer, benefits from lying, or from maybe not being completely upfront about everything we feel about a product. Nobody benefits from that. Not the customers, so the general consumers, the players, our peers, other influencers. Nobody benefits except for maybe the pocket of some influencers, not yours. I'm not saying yours, but the pockets of some influencers and developers. That's basically the only people that benefit from that scenario. But I think that if a developer is putting out high quality products, then it's not necessary. It's really, being honest is just helpful. And any developer that sees honesty as like a negativity kind of scenario, and just basically anything that you're ever going to say that you feel is like crossing the line of honesty into maybe being a little negative, just always remember that to go to the developer first and say, hey, listen, before I go out in a video with this, I just wanted to let you know that I've been having this issue or this issue. And either they're going to come back to you and say, thank you for helping us out with that. We really appreciate it. We'll address this in an update. Or they're going to look at you and say, thanks, buddy. We don't give a shit, but have a nice day. And then either way, you can just go out and say what you're going to say. But sometimes I've always found that being honest is really helpful to a lot of developers, because we are just another pair of ears, another pair of eyes, right? And we all see things different. And so a lot of developers that I've worked with over the years have just been really glad to have the help and of another pair of ears and another person that's just willing to be honest about a particular plugin. Now, if it's something that you're creating that's just 100% creating just a negative review, a negative piece of content, I don't know that that's 100% necessary, but you're not really that type of guy anyway. So I think you just keep doing you, because what you do is working, and have fun doing it, because obviously you're having a good time. So everybody, go and check out Resington's stuff ASAP. Go and make sure you're subscribed to his YouTube as well. And we'll be seeing you guys next Friday right here, 4:30 Eastern time, 4:30 p.m. All right, everybody, you have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. And we will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for the support. Cheers.